So this hopefully is going to be a quick video on binary addition. This one might run over because there's a few tricks we just need to explain. So here we go, let's get started. In binary addition, there's a couple of tricks you've got to look out for, and that's adding ones and ones or 3 ones, which we'll get to in a second. So if you know how a binary number is constructed, each column is given like a value. Any ones in this column is equal to a 1, any values in this column is equal to a 2, any values in this column is equal to a 4, and any value in this column is equal to an 8. So if you look here, I've got a 1 here and a 1 here, so that's an 8 plus 4 is 12. I've got a 1 here and a 1 here, so that's 3. So 12 plus 3 is 15. Now if you know your binary pretty well, you know that 15 is the highest number you can have in a 4-bit binary number, which is these. So 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 15. Your answer would simply be that. And that's doing it a really cheeky way, finding out what the denary is for each of these, and then going, oh, it's 15, so where does 15 look? But you're not allowed to do that. Most exam questions will make you show working, and that is to carry numbers. So let's do it on this one. Couple of rules. If you see a 1 and a 1, when you're adding, it's very important that you know you're adding. You have a 0, carry the 1. Oops, and then I smack 2 like that. If there's 3 ones, it's a 1, carry the 1. So then it'll be 1 plus 0 plus 0. Well, 1 add 2 nothings is 1. And then a 1 add nothing is 1. And then there's a way we can check that this is right. If you remember like what we just said here, that one's equal to an 8, that one's equal to a 2, and that one's equal to a 1. So that means that that row is 11. And then we've got the same number here, that one's equal to 3. 11 plus 3 is 14. 8 plus 4 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. That must be the right answer, because 11 plus 3 is 14. It's pretty easy addition if you just remember those 2 rules. 2 ones, 0 carry a 1. 3 ones is a 1 carry a 1. It's the only combination you can have apart from adding ones to nothings or 2 zeros. But then they might do this. They might go, all right, so 1 and a 1, we know is a 0 carry a 1. A 1 plus a 0 plus a 0, we know is a 1. Then they go, well, a 1 and a 1 is a 0, carry a 1. But we're at the end column, and we know that this is a 0, carry a 1. So what you do is you'd put your 1 outside of this box. I'm just going to move it like out the way here, just like this. Imagine that there's another column there. That would now be in the 16 column, that one. That's in the 16 column. So I've got 1 in the 16, none in the 8, none in the 4, but 1 in the 2, and none in the 1. So 16 plus 2 is 18. So let's see if that checks out. We know that 1101 is 8 plus 4, which is 12, which is 13. And that in a 4 and in a 1 is 5. 13 plus 5 is 18. So it checks out. We call this overflow. What some exam might do is get you to add up 2 binary numbers, causing you this problem. And then you have to mention usually that you've created an overflow problem, and it's the reason many computers crash out these days. So let's get on to the good stuff. Right. Might run over because this takes a little bit of a time to explain. There's a few combinations you've got to understand, but it's the way you carry numbers in binary which is a little bit different to normal maths. The only theory I can just gloss over really quickly is that this column is double, is double that column. So if I've got a 1 in this column, then it means that this one would have to have 2 1s in this column for it to equal that, because that's equal to 1, 2 1s is 2, and that whole column, 1 in this column is equal to 2. You'll see what I mean with this in a second. You don't put 2 1s in the same column, but you have to carry numbers over. And hopefully just saying that now will make this next bit make sense. So we've got this sum. We know that a 1 in this column is equal to 8. And then there's nothing in these columns, so that's 8 minus 3, which equals 5. We are looking for a sum what looks like that. We know this, but you've got to show the working. So here we go. You'll say 0, take 1. Well, that's -1 in real maths, but you can't do that here. We have to go to the next column to borrow a 1, but there's none there. So we have to go to the next column to borrow a 1, and there's none there. So we can borrow a 1 from this column, but what we do is we strike it out. So if I just go to insert, let's get a line, and we'll make it thicker so you can see it. I'm not sure what this is going to look like on for you guys. So let's go weight and let's get it to 6. So you cross this out and we change it to a 0 because we borrowed that 1, and you show that you've crossed it out to borrow the 1. But in this column, if you remember what I said at the start, you need 2 1s in this column because this is equal to 4. So that's equal to 4 and that's equal to 4, which means 8, because I borrowed a 1 from this column and that value is equal to 8. 4 and 4 is 8. But we're not done, because if you remember, we're still got to do this. So I'm going to borrow 1 from this column for this column, and I put 2 1s in here because this one's equal to 4. 2 1s in this is equal to 2 for that, 2 for that, that equals to 4. But we're not done. We have to take a 1 off this and put the 2 1s. Why do I keep it in 2? 2 1s into this, and now we can do a sum. If I've got a 1 and a 1 and I take a 1 off that, I'm just left with 1. Can you see? That 1 and that 1, if I just take 1 off, so it's like 2 1s, take a 1, I'm left with just one of them. You see this one? I've got a 1, take 1, I've got none of them left. Here, I've got a 1, take none, got one of them left, still. And then if you remember, we've got rid of that 1, 0, and look, we get that answer we had before, because we know 8 minus 3 is 5. That's equal to 4. That's equal to 1, 5. So let's have a go with this one. 1 take 0. Easy. 1. 0 take 0. Easy. 1. 1 take 1. 0. No, take no, or 0 take 0. 0. Let's see if that's right. Well, that's equal to 5, because if you look, it's the same binary here. So that's 5. And that is 4. There's only a 1 in the 4 column. 5 take 4 is 1. We've got a 1 in the 1 column. That's that. So let's do this one. 0 take 1. We've got that problem what we had before. I've got to go next door and borrow a 1, because 0 take 1 is minus 1, and you can't have that in binary. So I go here. Now when I put a cross through, I know that that's 0 at that point. So I borrowed that and I need 2 1s in here. Whoops. So if I've got 2 1s and I take a 1 off it, I'm left with 1. 0 take 0 is 0. 0 take 1, I've got that same problem again. I've got to go next door, borrow a 1. 2 1s, if I take a 1 off it, I'm left with 1, and that's going to be 0. And if you just do the sum from the start, a 1 0 1 0 is a 10 minus 5, and guess what? I'm left with 5. And it's the same as the sum above it, because that's equal to 5. 10 take 5, 1 8, 0 before 2, 8 plus 2 is 10. If you're still having trouble with this adding binary up. And then the last one, I've just done it for fun because it's too easy. 1 take 1 is 0, 0 is 0, 0 is 0, 0 is 0, because we know that that's equal to 1, that's equal to 1, 1 take 1 is all zeros. I hope that's enough. It's a little bit longer than I'd like 10 minutes rather than the 5 minutes, but you have to go through these examples. I'd like you to just go back over it now and just have a look at trying, if you don't get it, try and understand why you have to put 2 1s in this column to subtract then a 1 off 2 1s, if you get me. It's very difficult to visualise. This is why I try to get you to look at it before I demo it in a lesson, and then you've got like a little heads up of what's coming, and then I can explain it over the hour rather than in 10 minutes. But give it a go. See if you can just make some random numbers up. Oh, and if you're doing it, try to make your number not this number smaller than that one, because you'll run into problems, because you can't take, like if this was equal to 3, take 10. You know, that's a -7, isn't it? You can't, well, I've not taught you how to represent minus numbers in binary. So make sure that this number is a 1 higher, if you get what I mean by that. But that's just it for now. If you need any help with this, please get me on mailing service, and I'll try and clarify it a little bit more with maybe some more examples. So thanks a lot.